Hello, Natalie. How are you?
I know. I'm so excited that we're doing this.
You're amazing. I'm excited to be here with you.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I know. It's really great. We've been working together for a long time, and I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for a long time. That's why you're here on a success story interview.
Thank you.
So we are. I'm first going to say what you do because I know
Sure.
you. A lot of people know you, but maybe some people in listening to the podcast don't know what you do. So we're going to say what you do, and then we're going to have a big announcement, a celebration to make. I can't wait. But let's
Yes.
first say what you do. So, Daniella Rudolph is the CEO and founder of Marriage Architect. Daniella is a dating coach, boutique style matchmaker, and marriage educator to make sure that each person and couple who she marries off are truly happy and have what it takes to stay happily married. So that's what you do. And I love your bio. It's simple, it's to the point. We understand what you do. And just by seeing your smile, we know that you're happy doing what you do. But you
Yes.
have another reason to be happy today. And I see you can't wait to share. So please
I
share
am so
with us.
excited. I'm so excited. On Friday, I got the call, surprise, we're engaged. It wasn't a huge surprise for me in the sense that I knew they were very happily dating. But the fact that they got engaged on Friday was super exciting and exciting news. Usually, sometimes they tell me in advance. So this time, I knew it was coming, but it's so delightful, and I know they're so happy. And that is my stamp of approval kind of concept when it comes to Marriage Architect and my networking for singles, where I do matchmaking and know each person individually before I set them up. So as they date, I am able to be there for both of them because we're friends each
Right.
side. So that's what is so special. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy for them.
And it's not just a couple, it's the 15th
Yeah.
couple who got engaged. So it's like, wow, 15. It's not one, it's not two, it's not three. It's really 15 couples that got engaged. So what how does it feel? Like I know you also have 15, you have 14 married,
Yes.
15 couple,
And
you
all
and
18 babies.
18 babies?
18 babies.
Wow.
And one is on the way. 19 is on the way, April time, please God. And
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing. And how does it feel? It's incredible because, as you know, I work really hard, and it's a special thing to be able to produce this kind of result. It's a success. But even all the positive dating that goes on, between the engagement, meaning with other people, is also a success. But this is obvious that this is the ideal success. So
Oh,
they're so happy. So it feels amazing to bring happiness to people's lives, to better people's lives, not just their lives. When I went to my 14th couple's wedding last week, I'm looking around at everybody there. All these people are affected, the parents, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, they're all so delighted, they're friends, and it's beyond words. And actually, which is a very interesting fun fact, is that the groom of the 14th couple is the sibling. His sister is my 10th couple. So
oh, wow. Okay. So it stays in the family, kind
it's
of.
amazing. It's so like a needle in a haystack twice. So it's really,
Right.
thank you. I'm very grateful. That's how it feels. It
Wow.
feels great.
Wow. Wow. That's how it feels. Now, what I would like to ask you, because you know how I always speak about the born to do and how I always speak about our purpose. So for you, it's so obvious that what you're doing is your purpose. But I always have that question from people that are still not sure or maybe evolving with their born to do. It's like, how do you know? When does it start? Because you've been in business, I think it's 8 years. Is that 8 years? Almost nine. You've
10.
helped thousands of singles. You work on a global level. We just said that you have 14 couple married, you have 15 couple engaged, you have 18 babies. But when can you take us back to the beginning when you had that idea, or how did it happen? Because people, we love to see success stories, but we also like to know how it started, and how did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Okay, so it's a wonderful question. And in the beginning, it all started with education because I'm an educator and I love educating. That's my born to do.
Okay.
And my born to do is educating. But what I didn't know was also my born to do is the matchmaking piece, but the dating education, hold on, I'm going to take care of it later. Sorry. The dating education. Okay, let me backtrack. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Power off. Turn my phone off. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so my born to do is in the beginning is I was a Jewish studies teacher in America. Came to Israel 17 years ago, and about in 2008 decided, based on people suggesting to me, to teach brides Jewish law before they get married. And I wasn't so excited about the idea at first. And then I realized, wow, positive Jewish education. That's who I am, because I was a positive Jewish education teacher in America for 10 years. So I felt anything I do, I like to do it professionally. So what I did was I said to my husband about 6 months after this idea started brewing, and I said to him, I'm going to look for a program today. And I turned on my computer, in my email inbox, Yeshiva University, where I went to school, Kala teaching program starting this week. A Kala is a Jewish bride, is a bride in Hebrew, Kala. And I clicked on that email, not believing it, of course, like, I can't believe this. And I figured it's going to be in Manhattan, where I went to school at Stern College and Azrieli for my master's. So I clicked on it, and it was actually in Jerusalem, and I'm living in Beit Shemesh. So I couldn't believe it. I signed up immediately. I went to courses, but they taught even more than the Jewish law, which is obviously, it was an amazing, amazing course, but they also taught other courses. And essentially, I'm not going to go into detail now, but there are amazing, amazing professionals teaching in these courses about all different aspects about marriage. So and about women's health and all sorts of things. So I figured I'm going to teach this woman so much before she gets married. And then January time, I'm thinking, whoa, this might cause an imbalance in the relationship. So I decided I'm going to go I'm going to learn something else I'm going to be able to teach the couple together. Because usually the Jewish groom will go to a male teacher to learn. And therefore, they're not learning together. And I felt like they need to learn something together. So I went back to learn communication skills and relationship building skills. And therefore, I could teach the couple before they get married and after they're married, so they have an awesome marriage. Like, just education, not like a therapy or anything. I'm not a therapist. I'm an educator. Just like prevent issues. So that was my concept, called it Marriage Architect. Notice it has nothing to do with matchmaking, which is really the cool part. That's like the born to do aspect, starting in this direction. It just went to a different direction than the classroom. So then I called myself Marriage Architect, started teaching brides and couples for 3 years. And all of a sudden in 2012, a lot of people started asking me to set them up. And I'm thinking, how can I set you up if I don't know you? I need to get to know you, because just that, to me, that on paper thing is not the same thing at all. So I'd get to know each person, an hour and a half meeting each person. I was doing everything for free at that time, all the meetings, because that's, I just didn't see this as a business. And I still, it's like a concept of, like, a lot of people do these things, for other people, but an hour and a half times 100 people in 9 months starts to take over your life. So of course I still enjoyed it, but at the same time, it started to feel very intense of a responsibility. And then I was thinking, either I continue doing this or I go get a job. So that's the development of where it started. But did I choose it? Meaning each day I choose it. But in the beginning, it came to me. People just started asking me to set them up, and it just started happening. And of course, I wanted to care for each person, but the only way you could care for them is by meeting each person to get them well enough. So then I had to make decisions along the way. Do I want to continue doing this? Is this something I enjoy? Yes, I do. I really feel like it. This is something that speaks to me. And also what people don't even realize until they get here, first of all, it's very pleasant. It's like a cup of coffee with somebody, and they usually enjoy very, very much. And I do too. They're my new friend. But what also happens is, with my background in education, both regular education and also in marriage education, I'm able to guide and each person has something that maybe I can help with their mindset as we're speaking. And sometimes it has even brought them to meet somebody just from that one meeting, not besides through me. That's one, of course, one way that I could introduce them to somebody. Hopefully, like that's the idea. But also the mindset shifts that are going on in this meeting for some people. They recognize that they are like who they really are in the meeting. And literally, I had an idea for somebody 2 weeks later, and I wrote to him, "Hey, how are you? Are you available to date?" He's like, "Actually, I met somebody as a result of our meeting, as a result of having these discussions." So basically, there's a lot that can happen as a result of our meeting.
Before we go into the results of your meeting, I want to stay in, the Born to Do, and basically, translate a little bit of what you said, which is it's a combination of things that you love doing, but also from what I hear from your story was also being like listening to what people were saying, listening to the signs, the email in the mailbox happening in Jerusalem, people asking you. So would you say that, because again, when people are saying, but I don't know if this is for me, I don't know if I'm good for it, I don't know if this is what I want to do, right? Which are questions that we all ask in the beginning, but then even when we evolve with our business, with our project or Born to Do. And so would you agree to say that this is like a combination? Like if you had to define, like, yes, it's listening to yourself, because this was also your field of expertise, but it was also listening to the signs, right? That's what it sounds like.
Absolutely. 1000%. That's even why I described the whole story to you, to anyone who asks, because it's so phenomenal. It's so unusual, right? But at the same time, I say to people, you can take the ball and you can catch the ball and then play the game, or you could just drop the ball. Like either way, it could go any way. But it has to speak to you. It has to feel right. It has to feel comfortable. It has to feel like you really are inspired by what you're doing. Like, I love what I do, but that became something I love to do. As I said, like, my Born to Do is educating, right? But I can do that. I took a course actually in my master's program at Azrieli at Yeshiva University about informal Jewish education. And he was describing how education is not always in the classroom.
Right.
And I think that actually affected my concept of how I see that I still fit into this, but differently. In fact, I've molded it into what I do, because I see how really not everybody needs, what I do is not like a lot of people think, oh, that might be therapy, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. And I didn't even want to go in that direction. People were like, you should be, go into that direction. I'm like, no, I know what I want to do. This is not, I don't want to fix the problems. I want to prevent the problems.
Right.
So, with the positive education.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's hand in hand with matchmaking, right? Like it just all goes hand in hand, because then the matchmaking is coming up. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. It's in the other room, but I'm being taped right now. Okay, so go under. Sorry. I had no idea.
That's one of my questions, actually, and maybe we're just going to transition to that question, is that you have 7 children and you're working like a lot, right? Because you have all those amazing, how do you do it? Because I want other women, who have children, who have a life, and who need to find that balance. Can you also share? And that was also, part of who you are and part of what you do. And part of
timing. Exactly. He's a bar mitzvah boy. He's studying he has his bar mitzvah teacher here, so he can't not come in to get his books. It's my fault for not setting it up.
Of course. So
it's a great question. It's a great question. It always worked. And I used to be a teacher. So I used to have my hours that I went to teach out of the house. I love being an entrepreneur, the fact that I have my own business and I could be in the house and leave the house when I need to, of course. But the work that I do in my house, and if you see right here also, you see that door, that it's clear. This is a very, very nice aspect about being a mommy and wife. And it's also for another reason that I have a clear door when I meet with men, that it's a clear door and that it's, like everyone can see what's going on, and that I feel comfortable, he feels comfortable, and it's just like, it's nice. But also, I always say to everybody, I sit in that chair over there facing that door. And then when my kids come in the door, I can give a wave. My husband comes in the door, I can give a wave. They see me. I'm not like out of the house. I'm in the house, but the door is closed. So
Right.
it has significance that when I'm working, meaning in a meeting or here, didn't quite work this time. But I think that's one aspect of,
Right.
having boundaries, but also being here in my house. Um,
I love
another
that concept, by the way. I love that concept of the glass door because it has the door which is closed and which really shows I'm working now, but it also has the I'm still present. I can still connect with you even if I'm working. So I love that. That's a really nice concept. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, they brought a white glass door when they came with the door. And I was like, no, 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 no. We are not doing that. I ordered Shakub. I ordered clear. Anyway,
Right.
yes, it is magnificent. It really is. I love it. And I'm proud of it. Another way of doing it is, first of all, my kids know I love what I do. And I think that's also a role model, like that they see that I'm working and that, and I love what I do. And, but one of the things that I actually do have a major boundary about is not speaking on the phone too much.
Okay.
So I have my meetings. That's a face-to-face. That's where I think it's majorly important. So let's say before the meeting, there are the emails that go out, and I have my Calendly link so I don't have to deal with the time. They can look at the time. Like I have a lot of things that are automated, right? And then the face-to-face is gold.
Right.
Okay. That is the essence of what I do essentially before the setups, anytime I have a person set up, or I do dating coaching, of course, on video chat. But then after the meeting, any setups I do on WhatsApp, email, mostly WhatsApp, but Facebook Messenger, I'm happy to be when I can. In other words, I don't have to commit to the time that I am in touch with people. It's usually immediately because I love what I do and I want things to happen. And moving mountains, I call it. But
Right.
I have my boundaries because what always pains me in my head is hearing somebody on the phone all the time and then they're not present with their children.
Right.
So I think that I'm not perfect in any way on any of this, but that's where I feel it works for me. That I can, if I'm drinking my coffee and I choose to, message the people who have gone on dates or my VIP clients who I'm in touch with, and I decide to do that during my coffee because I want to, that's great. If I decide I want to do it at another time, and if I want to go to exercise and do other things, whatever, I could do whatever I want whenever I want because I'm my own boss. But at the same time, as a mom and a wife, I need, that's the whole point of what I do altogether anyway. So, that's, I think, a good tip in how I do.
What I love about what you're doing and saying, and it's that you have that awareness of both. I want to be a fulfilled entrepreneur. I want to be successful. I love what I do, but I also want to be present as a mom, as a wife. And so even though, like you said, no one has perfect solutions, but just to put this out there and to put the boundaries wherever, it matches for you, I think that this is, a good lesson that, everyone can learn from, because we all have to put our boundaries, but at least, you're asking the question and you're putting it where, that's
and also with the meetings. Like I also will only put them at times on Calendly link at certain times of the day that work for me and my family.
Of course.
I will choose for VIP clients, I will choose to meet a prospect for them on video chat, but it could be the craziest time, whatever, but I chose it because it works for my schedule too. But I do go out of my way at later hours or during the middle of the day when I normally
would. Of course, but at least you're you have priorities, so you're switching it according to that. So talking about systems and automations, and talking about having all those great tools that you use and that make also our life easier. Let's face it. I wanted to talk about also you being in the Born to Do Business program.
Yes.
We've been working together for more than a year, right? Was it a year and a half? Yeah, a year and a half.
Actually, a year and a half.
Exactly.
It was You're amazing, Nathalie. You really, really are amazing. And I was, and one, I don't know if you're going to ask me questions, but I'm just going to talk. First of all, there are two aspects that I think are amazing. And also one of the things that you started developing when I, whatever, towards the second part of the time that I was there was the, well, let's talk about the first part. The first part is, I think every meeting with you is gold. It really is. There have every single time I made primarily a lot, besides the automations and different things like that. To me, what was key is mindset. And I really feel that you helped me go from like apologizing almost that I have a business because the field that I work in is, is setting people up. And of course they do it differently than a lot of people. And I'm sure there are amazing people out there, really nothing about other people, but about myself, that I'm a professional, and I have a lot to offer. And getting past that, I think, even though I had that, I think when I came in, but there were certain shifts in my understanding of the value that I give that you gave me, which I really cherish and use and implement a lot. I do feel that those meetings particularly were very helpful, and also in the group meetings. Of course, I would gain different things. The weekly or whatever it was. And awesome people in those groups. Like, they're really, really awesome. And I learned a lot from each of them. And I think overall it's an excellent experience for me. And I do feel a different feeling of CEO of my company, CEO and founder, Marriage Architect. It's like it was, and there was another major aspect here, I think. I'll tell you what it is. When I came in to work with you, I had trouble coming up with a vision. And when you don't have vision of where you want to be, there's something wrong. Because even though I love what I do, I really love what I do, but if you can't visualize growing and scaling, because that was the reason I came in, for scaling and systems. But the concept of having a vision is really a deeper kind of understanding of where I want to be 10 years from now. People would talk about it. Oh, where do you want to be in 10 years? But I was always stumped. Like, where do I want to be in 10 years? Because like, as you saw, it came in my life. Like I'm following it, right? So something else will be. But I started having more vision, with the discussions of scaling and, different aspects. I certainly have more of a team now. But I do see that growing in time, scaling in time, I should say. And also the amount that I can offer the world, the people dating and the education on a scaling that, and scaling, like the dating roundtable that I started, or my courses, the Date Right, Marry Right, and Dating Smarter series, and people getting married from them, you should know.
Right.
So it's really cool. So I feel like even if I didn't do some of the systems that I learned about, I know they're there. And right. I know that, so like the vision is one aspect, meeting with you changed my mindset on different things as we worked together, because it was like however often we met. And when I was like, it took me hard, it was hard to, to push me out of my mindset sometime about different things. But I really see, as I meet with each person, more and more and more the value that I'm offering them. And it certainly encourages me on many aspects of what I do.
Wow.
It's
I
really
didn't even ask the questions. You just answered all my questions without even me.
Well, I know how I feel, and it's very significant, and that's why we're here today. You asked me to come. I'm like, absolutely. I am so happy to applaud you, for everything you do for me, and also everybody, the members in the community, the Born to Be community, and I appreciate it. So
thank you.
Thank you
so much. And thank you, because this is the purpose of the success story. It's also to inspire, right? It's also to say to people, you know what, I love what you said when you said, even if I don't implement, I know that they're there, right? Yes. And this is what we speak about when we say we don't even know what we don't know, right? The things we know, we don't know, we're going to learn, we know where to look for. But I think that one of the things that being in a program, no matter which program, or working with a group of people, is to be aware of, okay, I didn't know that existed, or I didn't even know that I didn't know that. And I think that you really expressed that really well. And also a question that I get a lot from people that are, interested in the program is this difference between the one-on-one and the group. And I think that you also mentioned that both are, people sometimes don't understand, like, am I going to work only with you, or is it like a group program? Like, I think you also had that question in the beginning, right? How is it for you? Yeah, but because I think in the beginning you were more like, oh, I just want to work with you. But then you also saw the beauty of the community. So
yes.
Can you talk about that? Like,
Yes, I'm actually really happy to talk about it. So first of all, I said already that working with you was incredible. And I feel like I got each time we worked together, well, essentially to tell everybody else out there, basically when you sign up for a program with Nathalie, you have, let's say, once every 3 weeks or once every, depending on your program that you sign up for, every couple of weeks you meet with Nathalie. And then in addition, Nathalie has a whole program set up each week in different programs that have different days, et cetera, where you meet with a group of people, and depending on what the program is for that session, that's what you're doing in that session. But like, for example, because of course we want to talk about like the people in the program. So like, let's say if there's questions, to Nathalie about whatever topic, or there's a specific topic, and then people ask Nathalie questions about that topic, whatever Nathalie decides for that time. And then you learn a lot from the people who ask the questions, because then you may not have thought of that question, and then you hear Nathalie's answer or other people's responses, because Nathalie will open the floor also for other ideas and opinions. So that's one way of getting to know the people in the program. Another way is on the days when Nathalie will, help us forecast our financial SPDs.
Planning day, yeah.
And then we pair up into groups, and you meet some awesome people, like one-on-one or like 3 in a group or something like that. And I've become friendly with them. So we don't have to talk all the time, but we are friendly. And then, like we're friends, like as real friends. Like one time I bumped into some of them in the old city, and that was really cool. And then, like online also, or if you want, social media, participation for something, like you have people who are in your community and are very fond of each other, because we each appreciate each other, because you see each person's inner essence when you're talking about things that are very deep and dear to us. Like the born to do is you're born to do, like you really care. Like another person might say, oh, a matchmaker, does she really care about the person they're setting? I do really care. And I think everybody in this Born to Do program knows how much I care about each person, and that they're happy, and that they really, and it's my baby, So it's
I think that what you're saying is also because the people that are attracted by the Born to Do business are all purpose driven. They all have in their own way, like I feel like there's a special energy. Like, it doesn't matter if they come from different industry, or if they obviously sell different things and obviously have different personalities. But I think you're right. There is something special about, people that are connected to their Born to Do, or talk about this essence of, and also I know that you love mindset, because we've been talking about mindset a lot. And I think that going through, because that's also what you teach, and what your expertise is with your couples and with singles. But I think that when we go over this mindset, it's a transformation.
Yes.
And this transformation, going through together, it creates bonds, it creates connections. There's something about, wow, we understood this together. We went deeper. We shifted something.
Yes.
And that is beautiful. I mean, I think that the group dimension is really really important.
Yeah,
wow.
And I think that respect. I think that along with the admiration and the connection that everybody has with each other, there's also a very nice level of respect I have for each person, because I see how much people are dedicating to bringing their Born to Do to the world, the Born to Do being something very important, like something very important to them into this world, to bring the they're born, well, it's not just they're born to do, it's that they're bringing something that's important into the world.
Right.
So I think that that's the key. So
have an impact, right? To really have an impact. It doesn't matter where they're coming from or what they sell. I think that this is really a common point. And of course, so we're getting to the end of the interview. We did what I want to end with is your advice to other entrepreneur, right? So I know that in the past, and we just spoke about mindset, so that is really a great transition, but I know that you wrote in the past, work on your mindset. It's what draws your ideal clients to you and brings you success. So I want to end on that note. I want you to expand a little bit on that advice that you're giving to other entrepreneurs, and talk about, like, why do you think mindset is so important?
I think that when I can speak about myself, that when I am, it's not just positive, when I'm feeling positive, but when I'm feeling inspired and when I'm feeling very connected to what I do, and obviously in a positive way, but we're humans, right? Every day can't be 100% positive. But when you feel gratitude, that's the first step. Feel gratitude about the fact that I'm able to do this as my job, right? And if you feel gratitude for all the good I'm bringing into this world. And when I connect to that essence of that feeling, and literally, thank God, literally, but understanding the depth of that, I feel inspired. And then, but it takes work, meaning like making sure to focus on it. Cause there are a lot of things going on in our lives, right? But when you focus on it, it is something that, whether it's law of attraction or just the way everything works, that it attracts like your positive feeling. I say this to couples also, like when you're pleasant and inspired and like happy and grateful to be married to each other, or as a parent to a child, and you're grateful to have them as a child and to be in that positive place, they're going to be so much more enjoying being around you. They're going to be going to be able to mirror that, right? And be able to be happy too, because they're feeling the gratitude, they're feeling that you're grateful with them. So it's a similar concept, but on a business level, because business, if it's a born to do, then it really is also a relationship, right? And then people will then connect with you as well. Like that some people say that you're destined to work with certain people, whatever it is, it's you're trying to attract. You're not trying to attract. That's the whole point. You're not trying, but you want to. You will, by having this positive, being in this positive place. And sure enough, if you're able to live a life being grateful and really focusing on it, obviously you can't every single second of the day, but almost, like as much as you can, will bring a lot of good in your life.
Wow, I love that. And I think that this is such an important message for singles for whom I'm sure it's not easy, right? To look for your soulmate, to not be married, to be alone. And you're reminding them that it starts with them. It's not just, I'm waiting for something to happen. But if I start with my mindset, if I start with being positive, I'm attracting, and I'm, naturally and organically attracting. And that is such a beautiful, beautiful message. So I want to end this interview with whoever is listening to the podcast and knows whether you're single or someone who's single. We all know someone who's single. I think that you see Daniella's energy. You see like how she loves what she does. You see the success with all the couples that are getting married, getting engaged, having babies. And I really, really think that what you do is so important, Daniella. I mean, that we've talked about it, but I'm repeating it again and again because, there is the way that you do. The result, of course, speaks for itself. But your approach and the way that you look at those people and you help them from the inside, not just, okay, I have someone, just go, here's the date and just the technical aspect, but really changing them. And I know we spoke about it that when they get married, it's great, but sometimes even not getting married is great because they're not getting married to the right person.
Correct.
Because they're learning something about themselves. And so that is going through the process with you. And whatever happens, they're learning something about themselves, about relationships, and, and then it happens when it has to happen.
Exactly.
So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. And I really appreciate your having me. And obviously anybody who you're helping, because obviously, besides all the Jewish entrepreneurs, like all that, absolutely, you're helping everybody. But also obviously with singles who want to be married. But I just want to say one more thing that a lot of people ask me, what types of people do I set up? So I set up Jewish singles who want to get married. They come to meet with me. And they could be religious or not religious, anything in between, whatever that is. Everybody's an individual in my head. And I set up people primarily in Israel and in the US. Some people will ask, will I set up at other places? They can contact me. But and I only speak English. I speak English and Hebrew fluently. A lot of people ask me that as a follow-up question.
That's
so
very important. Very important. And you can all go visit marriagearchitect.com. That's Daniella's website. You can contact her, send her a message for yourself if you know anyone that is single and wants to get married. That's the idea.
Yes.
Daniella, thank you so much for being our guest. You are a success story, definitely. This is we see it from what you do and from how you do it. So I'm sure that our paths are going to, we're going to cross our paths again for sure. And I'm waiting and expecting you to be back in the Jewish Women Entrepreneurs podcast with even more good news and even more things to share. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.